community and was immune from unjust legal systems. On our side of the house, we think that it would be great if in 2015, Melbourne debating ranked higher than Monash debating, as we rightly deserve to. But the world is unfair, ladies and gentlemen. The world is unjust. And we think that in circumstances where the state fails to properly provide justice for its citizens, then there absolutely needs to be someone or a particular avenue whereby that justice is able to be served. We think that in those instances and in those societies, the hero that those societies may not deserve, but the heroes that those societies need is Batman. The paradigm where this debate exists is one whereby we exist within the kind of canon world of Batman in the comics and in the film franchises that have existed in the past 4 decades. But we say that also a lot of the arguments that I'll be presenting and throughout this debate will also apply to individuals that exist within the same circumstances as Batman, existing within the same life conditions as he does. So today I'll be answering 3 questions. Firstly, when is vigilantism justifiable and are these conditions actually evident within Batman's world? Secondly, why is Batman the best actor or enforcer of justice within Gotham City? And finally, how does Batman's vigilantism restore order and law within Gotham City? So on this first question of vigilantism and when that is actually justifiable, on our side of the house, we argue that it is absolutely justifiable when the state fails to enact law and order either through law enforcement or through corruption within the state to provide justice and to provide a sense of order for its people. We think those sorts of societies are necessarily anarchic, and we think that it is absolutely justifiable for that individual to act in order to protect his own right. Why is that? Because we say that individuals enter a social contract whereby they sacrifice their own agency in order for the assurance that the state will protect them and pursue their rights, right? We say that in this particular circumstances, such as the circumstance of Gotham City, the state has failed to provide the conditions of that contract. Therefore, that contract is void and the individual has the capacity and has the right to therefore act autonomously to protect their own rights. We think that this is important because the principles of justice are important to an individual's sense of dignity, happiness, and because we think that most individuals exist within a paradigm where they believe in a just world, where they believe that when you do something bad, there are consequences to it, and we think that without those sorts of principles within the individual's mindset, then that leads to an even more anarchic kind of society. We think that, moreover, it is more important that this usurps certain rights, such as rights to a fair trial or rights to not having cruel or disproportionate punishment, because we say that it is never necessary or never assured that the state will provide things such as a fair trial, never assured that the state will provide things such as not having cruel and disproportionate punishment. And we think that this is even more so in corrupt societies, and so we think that in Batman in particular, where you have quite an interesting moral character that enacts quite reasonable and rational investigations to pursue his endeavours, we think that that is absolutely reasonable. So does Gotham City actually fulfil the conditions for this society? We say yes for 4 different reasons. Firstly, we say that corruption is right within the police force within Gotham City. We think that there are relations to the mob and that sort of stuff. That means that law is unable to be enacted. Secondly, we say that it is led by a single corrupt power holder, which is the Falcon family, right? We think that runs the asylum and the prison systems. We think that makes it very, very difficult for proper fairness to be enacted within the legal system. Thirdly, we say that Gotham City is infested with crazy supervillains, guys. You have Joker, you have Scarecrow. You need someone there who acts beyond the boundaries of the law to actually ensure the safety of its people. And finally, we say that Gotham City has an attitude of cynicism where things like petty crimes, going the police not looking after those sorts of investigation, means that you're more likely to exist within a paradigm where the law isn't being respected. That is why we need someone like Batman to in order to safeguard that city. So why is Batman the best kind of enforcer of justice within Gotham City? 2 points under this. Firstly, we say that he has the morality and a sense of justice that is required to ensure that justice exists within this anarchic society. And secondly, we say that he also has training resources and intellect as required. We say that firstly, we accept that vigilantism can be based on subjectivity. positivity. We accept that vigilantism can be like harmful if like that person doesn't know what justice is or doesn't follow an objective view of justice. However, we say that the evidence that comes with Batman is actually he's a really rational character, right? We say that in particular circumstances, like he's often described as being the best detective of the world, and we say that that is because he does investigate and he doesn't kill the kind of like culprits that he finds. He actually thinks of the most rational way of reforming them, either sending them to jail or letting them go whilst like intimidating. We think that he is absolutely like objective, and therefore we think he is the best kind of person in that place. We think he is much better than the corrupt police force because of their relations and their proximity to like the mob and those sorts of things. So that is why we think he's the best impartial third party. But moreover, we suggest that his training, the fact that he's gone all around the world to like have better training, to be able to have the capacity to actually take down these culprits, means that he's the best actor to actually take down these people. Moreover, we say that the fact that he is a millionaire with lots and lots of resources means that he's better able, or like to, at the worst case scenario, have like the same capacity as the police to actually investigate well and to actually track down people in ways that other people cannot. We say that he has an absolutely huge arsenal of tools, and he's so well endowed that he drives his Batmobile like further thrusted into any Batcave he wants to, right? And that is why we think that he is absolutely appropriate. So how does Batman's vigilantism actually restore order and justice in Gotham City? 4 reasons under this. Firstly, we say he has a direct reduction of crime rate. Secondly, we say that he like deters people. Thirdly, we say he provides an incentive for like reform by the state. And finally, we say that he provides safer communities. So on this first point of direct reduction of crime rates, we think that Batman is like very, very much proven to actually catch more people because of the resources and the training that he actually has, right? And we think that like the more people he catches and sends to prisons, the fewer repeat offenders you have, the lower crime rates you have. We think that that means less people having their rights violated by these offenders, which means that like less people are being hurt and less people are having like justice, injustices with the law, right? We say that with Batman around, the reduction of burglaries means that the only kind of Robin that is happening is Joseph Gordon-Levitt in like Lycra leotards, guys. And we think that that is justice for all, particularly straight women, gay men, pansexual, bisexual. We think that that is what justice actually is. So moreover, we say that deterrence actually also occurs when you have Batman there as opposed to the police force. Why is that? Because we think that like Batman versus the police is a really compelling comparative, right? We see the lack of regulations that Batman has means that he can be more intimidating, means that even if he doesn't enact more violent kind of actions, that he can be seen as like having the capacity to commit more violent actions. In that case, you disincentivize those criminals from actually committing those crimes because they think that the repercussions of their action is necessarily going to be worse. That is why we think he acts much more as a deterrent. But secondly, we think that like previously untargeted crimes such as petty crimes, the police who are corrupt often become more targeted because of Batman, because he's always patrolling the cities.